Hey, it's Lisa with Inspired Wellness Tucson, and today I wanted to teach you how to do a water enema. Why would you want to do that? Well, if you ever deal with constipation, food sensitivities, migraines, flare-ups, if you're wanting to do a coffee enema, I recommend starting with a water enema because it's super quick and easy to prepare. It's simpler than a coffee enema, and it also helps prepare your body to handle a coffee enema better. Because most people are walking around with 4 to 5 pounds of disgusting old sludge in their colon, and that's just been sitting there for years. We want to clean it out periodically because our body keeps reabsorbing toxins if we don't clear it out. So I recommend using distilled water. Distilled water is the most pure water. There is nothing in it. Yes, there's no minerals, but there's also no contaminants. And if you're just using filtered tap water, even with a really good filter, you can still end up with heavy metals, pesticides, other contaminants in there that you really don't want to be putting straight into your gut. So if you're using distilled water, it can help absorb toxins and you're not putting anything bad in. And when it comes to the actual system that we're going to use to hold the water for the enema, I do not recommend this type. You've probably seen this type of enema bag at the drugstore that comes with long white tubing. This type is really hard to clean properly, and also if you're trying to put warm water into this rubbery, plasticky bag, you're going to end up leaching a bunch of plastics into the water and mainlining that. Those are hormone disrupting chemicals. It's just not a good idea. So you can get a stainless steel enema bucket easily online. These are super easy to clean. You can add things over time. If you want to get creative, you can add things like magnesium and probiotics and various different powders. So you'd really want to be able to scrub it out well afterwards, and this is super easy to clean. You can also replace the silicone tubing anytime you want. I recommend replacing it every couple months, just whenever it starts looking dingy, you get some new. And so my little recipe that is super quick and easy to prepare, you want to use about 1 liter of water or 32 ounces. So to get it to the perfect temperature, I pour in about 6 to 8 ounces of water into a kettle and heat it up. And then I fill this up to 24 ounces, as I already have here, with room temperature water. So when you're ready to do it, you just mix the warm water in with the room temperature water. You can give it a little stir. You could add the juice of half a lemon. Make sure it's organic if you're going to do that. You can also add a teaspoon or 2 of liquid magnesium. That's really relaxing to your whole body. If you're having a tension headache or a migraine, that's very helpful because you're really absorbing all that magnesium, relaxing your muscles, even relaxes your mood. And then you could even add some potassium compounding powder, which we'll talk about a little bit more in the coffee enema video. But again, you can also keep it really simple and just do the water. So next we're gonna go into the bathroom and I'm gonna show you how to set everything up. Welcome to my bathroom. So here I wanted to just show you quickly the setup for what they call the nest, which is where you're gonna be lying during your enema. So this is achieved by just taking some pillows. You can take pillows off your bed and stick them inside of clean kitchen trash bags, or if you have a big piece of plastic, you could just wrap plastic around them, and then you'd want to wrap a towel around that. So that's what you see right down here. I've got a smaller, flatter pillow for my upper body. You do want your hips a little higher than your torso so that you're encouraging liquid to flow into your body and not out of it. So you want the slant to be going with your head lower than your hips. So I've got my thicker pillow down here, my thinner pillow here, and with a towel wrapped around our little trash bags. So normally this could go inside of your bathtub. If you have the type of bathtub or shower that has a little solid rack that's anchored in where you could put shampoo bottles or whatever, that's a great place to hang the hook of the enema bucket. Especially if your tub is right near your toilet, that's a perfect setup. For my bathroom, because the tub is quite a big distance from the toilet and there's no proper rack to hang things on, you do not want to try to hang an enema bucket from the curtain rod. You're going to pull it down and just make a mess. So because I have this wonderful towel rack right outside the toilet room, this is the perfect place for me to just put the nest on the floor. And with the towel wrapped around, it kind of holds it in. So you see here, I've got this little hook for the bucket, I just rest that in the middle of the towel rack. And then over here, I've poured the water into the bucket. And then before you start, you need to lubricate the speculum, which is the part that you put on your body. So a lot of websites that talk about enemas will recommend using olive oil or coconut oil as your lubricant. Do not do that. You really want a nice thick lubricant that's going to stay on top of the skin. Oil absorbs into the skin really quickly, and then you don't have any more lube. So you really want something like unpetroleum. You could use Vaseline too, but if you're trying to be as natural and non-toxic as possible, unpetroleum is derived from castor oil, and there's no toxicity to it. So you just put a little bit on your finger. I've already coated this here. You just coat the speculum. You can coat where it goes on yourself too. And then it's nice to have some paper towel handy, so you just wipe off your finger after you've applied it. And I also like to have part of a paper towel down here so that when you're finished taking in the liquid and you pull the speculum out, you just wrap the paper towel around this to keep everything nice and clean. So let's go ahead and hang this up, because there's another thing you need to know, which is when you get ready to do your enema, you want to make sure that you purge all the air out of the silicone tubing. You don't want a bunch of gas bubbles in you. That's not going to feel good. So you would just hold the speculum over the toilet, open the clamp. This clamp controls the flow of water. So you just open it. Water's going to be flowing down the tube, and then when it flows into the toilet, that should signal that it's fully in the tube. But you also just kind of want to check, squeeze it, make sure there's no air bubbles. This looks good. If there are air bubbles, you can just squeeze it or tip this down a little more and make sure that the line is completely full of fluid before you try to take it in. So I'm going to take this down to show you how you're going to lie. But basically, with the bucket up there in place, you would insert the speculum inside yourself and open the clamp to allow the water to start flowing in. Now remember, while the water's going in, our colon, the large intestine, goes up the right side, across the middle under your ribs, and then down the left side before stuff exits your body. So when you're taking the water in, it's going the opposite way. So it's actually going to be flowing up your left, across the middle, but the only way to get it to go down the right is if you turn onto your right a little bit. So the first 5 minutes of the water enema, as you're filling up, you can be kind of tilted to your right. And then once you feel like it's full, you can just go straight onto your back. You can just kind of meditate, close your eyes, listen to music, whatever. And when you feel complete, when you see that the water is done coming through, you would close the clamp, wrap it up, set it aside, and you can spend another 5-10 minutes lying on your back. And then when you're getting toward the time where you'd want to empty, you can roll onto your left side. As you roll onto your left side, you're encouraging that flow again toward the exits, so it's all going to come out more easily if you've been lying on your left for a while. So once you are done, you would just empty as much as you can in the toilet. And it's just good to remember, especially if you're dehydrated, your body really might want to hold on to the fluid for longer. So give yourself some grace period where maybe for 30 to 60 minutes afterwards you're doing stuff around the house where if you suddenly needed to go to the bathroom, no big deal, right? You don't want to do this, especially on your first time. Don't do this on a busy morning where you've got a back-to-back schedule and you need to rush out of the house and get a bunch of errands run. You don't want to suddenly be in your car in the grocery store and go, the rest of it wants to come out right now. So just stay near a bathroom. But again, this is a great way to prep your body for a coffee enema. The water is going to help kick stuff out of your body. You don't have to hold it 10-20 minutes. If you can only hold it 2 minutes, 5 minutes, that's fine, because it's helping you clean out the junk so that then you'll be able to hold the coffee enema for longer. So I will see you in the coffee enema video and we'll go over all the steps there.